In this tutorial, we're going to go over how to create a movement or a story map in OJAI. So you have a few ways of doing this. So one of the things you can first do is here is by clicking Create a Movement. You can also go to Movements. When you're here in this area, you can also click the Create a Movement button. Right? So, or if you happen to be on your profile and you're currently at Movements, you can also hit the Create a Movement button there. So let's do it from the dashboard. And so here you are, you would go in and click Create a Movement. So before we move toward, let's talk a little bit about what movements are. Movements are story maps that are created within OJAI. Movements are sort of anything that you may want to showcase in terms of community-driven initiatives, data, efforts that are happening across your community or the world that you want to bring light or showcase to, or you really want to really kind of sort of like create a place-based map of things that you're working on or programs or projects or events or data across this map here. I'll show you a quick example of sort of what a movement can be. So here you have this particular movement of historical Black beaches across the US. And let's look for that movement here. And so what the great thing about the movement that lets you do is sort of like really sort of choose, an image, background, tell a little bit more information about it. You're able to create tags for that movement in order for people to easily find it. And then you're also able to then, if you're able on the premium side or organization, you're also able to create different sites. So within here, this one movement, you have 71 different sites. And the wonderful thing about movements is that your people are able to follow your movement. You're able to display different partnerships with organizations that are part of that movement. You're also able to post and comment about that movement, similar to the feed. And next, we'll go through the different sites of this particular movement. And so here, this movement is made up of 71 different sites. And here, now you're able to go in chronological order, as it's said, to go through each one of these different sites. And what you'll be able to do is notice that every single data point allows you to have imagery, your content, your location. You're also able to post videos within here as well. You're also able to post a data link that people can download. And now the same very map that you created, you can also decide you can export it as a map as well. So that's a little bit about movements. You're also to change the different types of maps you were able to see it on. You're also able to use your drawing tools against it. You're also able to overlay your data, right, your movement across the data catalog that exists. So that's a little bit of background about movements. So let's go back to creating one, right? And so what we're going to do now is click Create a Movement. And remember, you can do this in multiple places. To create a movement, you want to start off by simply filling out the first batch of information. And the great thing about creating movements and story mapping this way, it requires no learning curve, no coding. The system will take care of everything else for you once you provide it for the information. So what we're going to do right now is that we're going to create our first test movement. So for this movement, we're going to do scuba diving in Mexico. What we're going to want to do here is first start off by filling out a description, listing any partner organizations that we have. That's completely optional. If we want to make an optional impact statement for our movement, if we want to link any data or information to it, we will put the URL here, and then we'll pick our location. So let's do that. All right, so now we fill the information. The system allows you to format information as well. So if you want to create any bullet points as well, you're able to bold certain things. So format it as you please. If you have any partner organizations, some of them might be listed here. For instance, right? You can do that. If they're not listed, you can still put them in here and press it, and they will also show them as optional. If you would like to make any impact statements, which would show separately. So we can make a quick impact statement here. Something quick and simple. You can also choose to bold any of that. If there's any link that you want to have a data file, and here we want to go ahead and put an address. Now you may not have an address, or it might be somewhere remote. And what you want to do at that point is click select point on the map. The system works particularly by using longitudes and latitudes. And so here you have an option to put in the latitude and longitude if you have it. If you don't, you can also just begin to zoom out on the map. What we're going to do is that we are going to go to Mexico. And so let's just say, hey, we're here at this particular location. And so you would just click on it and place your marker right there, which you would notice would change the coordinates. And then you would hit apply coordinates. It would be there, and then hit confirm location. Now from here, you want to choose a movement avatar for your movement. Typically, you want that image to be something that's sort of small or square, sort of similar to what you would put on this particular social media account. So here you are. We're going to pick one of these here. We're already prepared. And then you're going to want to pick a cover page, right? The cover page will be the background behind your main avatar. You can either choose, if you already have one yourself, to click custom image. But if you don't worry, we have a great library of some that you can choose from right here. And so I'm going to choose this one, select an image, right? And now you're done. And now we're going to put some different tags, right? And so we can put go, we can put dive, right? And so what the tags do is sort of allow the search to find it easier just by saying, hey, dive, or Mexico, or Africa, or anything you sort of want to make it a very short way for people to find your story map and your movement, okay? And now from here, you can decide, do you have multiple sites within that movement, right? Let's say you have a data set and it's, starting across Mexico where you went through 15 different dive sites, right? And each one should showcase something different. We have a few options here. You can first, let's say you have a handful, that you could hit add a site. And add a site will sort of take you through the same situation where you want to put a title in. You want to put about the site. You can format it as you want. You want to put a date and time. So let's say it's right now or today. You can just go ahead and just click now. The cool thing about this is, let's say you have multiple sites and you want them in chronological order. You want to make sure that you put them in chronological order here. So let's say they started from 2025 going to 2026. No matter which way you put them in here, you want to put the dates correct, because the system will default to putting it in the order you have. If you want to keep it in the order that you're just placing them in right now, then just simply always click now, and it'll stay in how you format it. If not, it'll list it in chronological order. Same thing with the address. You want to go ahead and click a point on the map. And now you want to say, do you have a video link that you want to post within here? So first one we do, want to add our video link. Say, so here we have a video link we want to post in. And let's say we wanted to add an image to the site as well. Let's do that. Right. And so you can continue to do this on and on. Let's just with site one, some general information about it. Okay, here we go. And now you can continue to add multiple sites, right? If you don't want, you can move it. But at this point, we're pretty much done with this movement. And you can really hit submit, and your movement would then be created. So let's do that. So now your movement created, and here are your movement that you've created, right? And so now you can go to that particular movement, diving in Mexico underwater caves. And here you will see it on the map. You could probably make it a little easier to see by going to terrain or different type of satellite maps that you want to show it on. So here's your movement. As you can see, your movement avatars here, your backgrounds here, right? The information that you had on it, how it's formatted, your impact statement, your tags are here. Any sort of organizations that you wanted to partner with are on here. And then the movement site that you created are all here, right? And so this part, we just kind of threw it out here in Africa. But now, if you wanted to click on that site, it would zoom right in. And then here, people can watch the imagery that you created and watch the video, the YouTube video you posted. That simple. So now you're able to see how to create a movement, simple and easy, without having to code anything, very low learning curve. You're able to simply create it, put your information in, and the system itself does all the work for you. And so now you have a great, engaging movement that you have here that you're able to search and able to have. One of the things you can also have in here, just so you know, is that within the movement space, you're also able to go in, and if you want to find the movement that you've created, so when you're in the movement space, you can just click My Movements, and it'll bring you to a list of all of your movements. If you're following any, it'll bring you to any movements that you're currently followed. And as well as if you're in your profile, you can just simply go to your movements here. It'll have all the movements you've created. It'll put them on the map. All right, so that's how you create your first movement. Next, we'll talk about how do you create multiple sites in mass.